froth and fury. It was a wintry afternoon. Most students in our Darjeeling school bunked classes to frolic at the winter festival. Seeing a virtually empty classroom, the Reverend Martin Gauss, the housemaster, stopped dead in his tracks. "Hey, where's everybody?" he asked. "How irresponsible. This is really getting too much. Well, I guess we'll just have to start without the others. The course must be completed this month." It was obvious he was quite irritated. Seating himself, he opened his dog-eared diary. After squinting at the contents for a few moments, he looked up at me. Clearing his throat, he asked, "Do you know anything about a fire extinguisher?" Wonder-struck, I goggled at him through Billy Bunter-style spectacles.
"Come."
"Come," he said encouragingly. "Surely you know what it is. Tell me, how would you put out a fire?" Seeing my lips quiver, he continued eagerly, Yes. Out with it. How would you douse a fire?" "By calling the fire brigade," was the prompt answer. No, groaned Mr. Gauss. "Before that, wouldn't you do something else?" "Well, what is that something, my boy? What is that something?" By now his voice was a whimpering whine. My face creased into a broad smile. "Well, I would yell out, 'Fire, sir!'" Snorting in disgust, Mr. Gauss shut the diary with a bang and looked frantically around for something. Then, grabbing my wrist firmly, he marched out of the room. Outside, in the veranda, he pointed to a bright red conical contrivance mounted on the wall. "That, my boy, is a fire extinguisher." He drilled into my ears. Feeling that some reaction was necessary, I exclaimed, "Ah, how beautiful, sir." Mr. Gauss lifted the extinguisher off its mount, awkwardly staggering under its weight. He laboriously began explaining the principle on which it worked. "Listen carefully," he said in a matter-of-fact tone. "If this is inverted and the knob, can you see it? Come closer. Yes, and that knob hit hard on the ground. A jet will shoot out of the nozzle." "A jet, sir?" I interrupted. "A real jet?" "Yes, a jet. Of foam, which when directed on the fire will cut the air supply off and smother the flames." "Got it. Now repeat the whole procedure to me." Satisfied with my theoretical knowledge, he passed the apparatus to me and asked me to handle it. No sooner had I taken hold of it than the wretched thing slipped out of my hands. It hit the ground with a loud clang, the knob end landing first. Instantly a thick foamy jet ejected straight out of the nozzle and traveled a considerable distance onto the wall opposite, splattering it with thick foam. The loud swishing sound made me recoil in fright, quivering all over like an aspen leaf in a storm. I gaped open-mouthed at its amazing power. A quick glance at Mr. Gauss's face revealed it to be forebodingly dark with pent-up anger. That only served to further unnerve me. Blurting out a "Very sorry, sir," I stooped to lift the messy extinguisher. But my diffident handling merely resulted in the forceful jet forming random figures and foam on the wall. Providentially, the foamy artistry stopped just short of my teacher's semi-bald head. Tears welled up in my eyes. Everything seemed to be jinxed. After all, was I not trying my best to make good the damage done? But whatever I did was going awry. While attempting to realign the nozzle, one was drenched in foam and felt miserable. At this juncture, a voice like a cannon blast boomed out. "You blundering dolt, get onto the street immediately." Eyes smarting, I staggered along, carrying the heavy equipment. By now the jet was becoming less forceful, but it still foamed and frothed like an angry bull. On reaching the gate, I tried to prevent further damage, by directing the frothing nozzle towards the sidewalk. An unwary walker was caught smack on his chest. Stunned to a halt, he shouted, "Oi! What the—" Before he could complete the sentence, he was transformed into a trembling, creamy yellow foaming mass. The miserable man whimpered something which sounded like glob, glob, gob, gob, ob. Then, turning tail, the helpless victim took to his heels, looking like a giant-sized lemon blancmange. Uncontrolled laughter caused me to drop the extinguisher again. Anyway, it seemed to have served its purpose. Now was the time to wipe my foamed one face. Just then a strident voice was heard, "Come over here. I found the drain." Jerking up the spent extinguisher, I broke into a run. On reaching a ramp near the drain, I slipped on the foam and slid until stopped by an exasperated Mr. Gauss. Snatching the misspent extinguisher out of my hands, he threw it into the drain, quite suffocating it. Heaving a long sigh of relief, he turned round. But I was a heady away like a bat out of hell.